What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now today I have a full review on this boot right here, the Adidas Copa Pure 2 Plus. Now I've been using this boot for a couple weeks now and I'm ready to give my full review. And overall I feel like this boot is okay in terms of comfort and the way it fits. Like, it's great, but in terms of performance it could be better, and I'll talk about it more in this video. Alright, so the Adidas Copa Pure kind of has like its own thing going, just because this is kind of the only boot from the big brands that features a leather upper. Like the Nike Tiempo Legend 10 no longer is leather, the Puma King is also no longer leather, and from those three brands this is the only leather boot. And the only other one that I could think of is the New Balance 442 V2, which is also a similar construction where you have leather in the toe box and then a synthetic midfoot, and then the other Adidas Gloro and the Nike Premier. But those are more like lower end boots where they cost around like $110, $130, and this boot kind of is a different price range, so I can't really compare those two. Maybe the 442, like the New Balance one, kind of compares the best to this one, but I feel like overall this one just has a better sole plate, and like the leather itself is very good quality. You guys can see how soft it is. It's broken in. You guys can see like the wrinkles. This leather is calfskin. It's not a kangaroo leather like we've seen in the past, but honestly it's just very soft. I wouldn't even notice a difference. Adidas can say this is a kangaroo leather, and you wouldn't really be able to tell the difference. It's extremely soft. This leather, it isn't overly padded. It's kind of on the thinner side. It does have like a thinner feel to it, but obviously you still get that little bit of padded sensation that you get from a leather boot. And so here the leather kind of spans here in the toe box area, and then the rest of this material is called fusion skin, which is like their synthetic leather, I guess, just because like fusion skin is also found on the Rotero, but that one actually feels a lot more leather like. This one is just like a synthetic, and so this is just supposed to reinforce the upper, which it kind of does well. And what I really like about this like upper is that the transition between leather and synthetic is very seamless, and so when you have it on feet it's kind of difficult to feel where like the leather ends and where like the other material starts. The only way you can kind of tell is that this kind of hugs your foot a little bit tighter when you're pulling the laces, but for the most part, it's still pretty soft on feet. Like, it's not restrictive at all. It feels really nice and it's very comfortable. That's something that I give high praise to this boot, that the transition between materials is excellent and it just makes it very comfortable to wear. And so for me, I really like this upper. I really like the leather. This knitted material here in the middle kind of does a good job of having more of a seamless sensation. So overall, it's a great upper in my opinion. The fit of this boot is also pretty good. Like, for me, it fits me perfectly. Like, I do have a bit of a wider foot, and I have no problems fitting into these. I feel like if you do have a wider foot, this is a really good option in my opinion, just because here the leather will stretch in the toe box, and then like I said before, this material isn't so like tight and so restrictive, and so it has like a softer feel on feet, and so because of that it's just a little bit more comfortable if you do have a wider foot. And then touch on the ball, for the most part, like I said, it does have a little bit of padding to it, but since it's not such a like a thick leather upper, it is a bit on the thinner side, and so it feels pretty nice. So in terms of comfort, fit, and the touch, I think it's a fantastic boot. It's a great boot, but when it comes to performance, I think that's where it kind of lacks. And it's not so much here in the midfoot. Here in the midfoot, obviously it's not like super locked in sensation. Like, you do get a little bit of rollover, just because like I said, this upper, like, it is a different material and it's supposed to like strengthen the midfoot and give a little bit more support when cutting, and it does that. But obviously there is still slight like movement in it, not a crazy amount, but like nothing compared to like an F50 or like a Vapor. It's a little bit less like supportive. For me, where this boot is lacking is in the heel in terms of performance, just because this heel is just, I don't know, it's just too soft, and like here the padding, like these pillows here, doesn't do a really good job of just holding and locking in your heel. I found a good amount of movement and slippage in my heel. It's not so much like movement up and down, like it's not, my heel's not popping out, it's more like it's moving on the inside, side to side, and I just find that really annoying. And sometimes I would honestly like plant my foot, like my left foot, to like shoot, obviously, and then like my whole heel on the inside would just slip. Like, it just didn't feel locked in, and I hated that sensation. Like, it did help a little bit once I did wear grip socks, but I still did find in some instances where like my heel would still slip. It just doesn't feel secure at all. Like these pillows here, you do get these two pillows, kind of hard to see because of the lighting, but you do get these two pillows, but they're just like a soft material that it kind of just like compresses on its own and it doesn't pop back out. So it's not really like locking anything. And you guys can see like the material is already like fraying a little, like because there is so much like movement in there. Like my heel was moving around. I didn't get any blisters or anything, but like this material just doesn't even like grip your sock well. Even if you're not wearing grip socks, it doesn't like really do a good job of just gripping your sock. And like the pillows, like I said, they're just too soft. They're just not doing a good job of locking in your heel. I feel like the padding is a good amount, but like just the type of like material that they use on the padding, it's just not good in my opinion. I feel like they really need to change this. I feel like the padding on the F50 and the Adidas Predator is way better. It just feels a lot firmer. This is like too soft for my liking, and I feel like that's why it kind of struggles. And also the heel itself, like it's just too soft. You guys can see the internal heel cup right here. Like I can squeeze it and like bend it. Like it's not very sturdy at all. And so I feel like because of that, it just doesn't really do a good job of feeling stable in the heel, and that's why there's a lot of movement. And in terms of like running, dribbling, and stuff like that, like normal dribbling, it's fine. But when you start doing step overs and like body feints, because you're stepping so hard and changing direction, like that's where you get also the movement in the heel, which I honestly don't really like. It's really annoying. It did help when I did tighten my laces and had grip socks on, but I would always have to wear a boot with grip socks, which is annoying just because sometimes you don't have grip socks all the time and you just want to wear normal socks. On the next generation, I really do want to see an improvement in the heel, or maybe even have an external heel counter. I feel like that would help a little bit more just because we have seen external heel counters now on the F50 and the Adidas Predator. So it wouldn't surprise me if Adidas come out with an external heel counter like sole plate for the next Copa Pure. And talking about the sole plate, the sole plate is from the Nemesis, so we have seen the sole plate before. And like I said before, I really like the sole plate. I feel like it's a good balance. It has a good amount of like snapback, but it's still a little bit flexible. And the stud pattern, in my opinion, is great. You get these half conical studs, and so you're able to have that rotational movement, but still get a good amount of bite. And I didn't have any issues with these on AG. They're a little bit too aggressive maybe for AG, just because they're a little long. But honestly, I didn't find myself getting stuck at all. These worked well on AG, and I imagine they're pretty good on FG as well. So with the sole plate and stud pattern, I have no issues with. Like they perform well. I really like the feel of it, so it's a very solid sole plate and stud pattern. But I would like to see something new in the next generation of the Copa Pure. So overall, I feel like the boot itself is a very comfortable boot. It has a nice touch. It fits well. It has a leather upper that is very high quality in my opinion for being calfskin leather. It's nice and soft. And so I feel like it's a really good boot, but I feel like this boot just lacks good performance just because of the heel. Like everything else of the boot, like from here forward in terms of performance, is pretty good. Like I wouldn't really complain about anything in the midfoot or in the toe box, but the heel is just really annoying. And I feel like heel is just a very important part. But yeah, overall the Copa Pure, it isn't a terrible boot, but it's not the best boot. Like it's a comfortable boot, but it's not a good performing boot. So it's like, it just depends. If you really care about performance, then you shouldn't get this boot. But if you just care about comfort and stuff like that, and a leather upper, then maybe this boot is right for you. But yeah, that's it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe, and make sure to hit the bell notification so you're notified for future videos. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.